Michael Evans had meticulously built a life of quiet contentment in Denver, Colorado.
As a successful software engineer, his days were filled with the intricate logic of code and the simple joys of fatherhood.
His 8-year-old daughter, Lily, with her bright eyes and boundless curiosity, was the sun around which his world revolved.
Chloe, his kind and supportive girlfriend, completed the picture of a stable, happy existence.
2 years prior, Michael had weathered a bitter storm, emerging with full custody of Lily after a grueling divorce from Rebecca Woods.
Rebecca had vanished from their lives then, leaving behind a void that Michael had carefully filled with love and consistency.
He believed that chapter was definitively closed, sealed by the court's decree and the passage of time.
The peace he had cultivated was a precious thing, hard-won and deeply cherished.
One crisp autumn afternoon, that carefully constructed peace shattered with the force of an unannounced earthquake.
Rebecca Woods materialized at his doorstep, a ghost from the past made flesh and bone.
She stood impeccably dressed, a stark contrast to the woman he remembered, exuding an unsettling aura of polished determination.
Her voice, once a source of constant friction, now carried an unfamiliar, unnerving calm as she made her declaration.
Rebecca claimed to be a changed woman, completely transformed by her time away, and demanded nothing less than full custody of Lily.
The words hung in the air, cold and definitive, stripping Michael of his breath.
His mind reeled, struggling to reconcile this poised stranger with the volatile individual he had once known.
The suddenness of her reappearance and the audacity of her demand left him utterly speechless.
Within days, Rebecca followed through on her threat, filing a petition with the Adams County Family Court.
The legal machinery whirred to life, dragging Michael back into the very conflict he thought he had escaped.
He found himself blindsided, his stable world abruptly shifting beneath his feet.
The legal documents felt like a physical assault, a direct challenge to the life he had so painstakingly created for Lily.
The initial shock quickly gave way to a profound sense of dread and a fierce, primal protectiveness.
Michael felt a heavy weight settle onto his shoulders, the burden of a fight he never wanted to rejoin.
He had to defend not just his rights as a father, but also the stability and happiness of his beloved daughter.
The looming court battle cast a long shadow over their previously bright days, dimming the light within their home.
He tried to explain the situation to Chloe, his words faltering as he recounted Rebecca's unexpected return.
Chloe, ever supportive, listened with a mixture of concern and growing anger.
She understood the depth of Michael's fear and the potential devastation this could bring to Lily.
Together, they braced themselves for the arduous and emotionally draining legal process that lay ahead.
The legal proceedings began, a series of formal exchanges and intimidating paperwork.
Michael was forced onto the defensive, his past scrutinized and his present challenged by Rebecca's aggressive legal team.
He felt like an open book, every page turned and examined for flaws by hostile eyes.
The sudden re-entry of Rebecca into their lives had plunged them all into an unwelcome and terrifying new reality.
The serene landscape of their family life had been irrevocably scarred by Rebecca's calculated re-emergence.
Michael understood, with a sickening certainty, that this was not merely a custody dispute but a battle for Lily's very peace of mind.
He resolved to fight with every fiber of his being to protect his daughter from the chaos Rebecca seemed intent on unleashing.
The battle lines had been drawn, and the fight for Lily's future had truly begun.
As the custody case progressed, Rebecca unveiled a sophisticated campaign of manipulation aimed squarely at Lily.
She showered the 8-year-old with extravagant gifts, from designer clothes to the latest electronic gadgets, creating an aura of boundless generosity.
These lavish presents were accompanied by enchanting promises of a life filled with luxury and adventure, painting a dazzling picture for the impressionable child.
Lily, though initially wary, found herself increasingly drawn into Rebecca's orbit, captivated by the allure of this new, exciting world.
Rebecca skillfully leveraged these material offerings to sow seeds of doubt about Michael's parenting in Lily's young mind.
She subtly implied that Michael's simpler life somehow lacked the excitement and opportunities she could provide.
This insidious manipulation caused immense confusion and significant emotional stress for Lily, who struggled to reconcile her loving father with the exciting, albeit unfamiliar, image of her mother.
The child's innocent heart became a battleground, torn between two conflicting realities.
Michael, witnessing Lily's growing internal conflict, desperately tried to expose Rebecca's manipulative tactics and her past instability.
He submitted evidence detailing her previous erratic behavior and her abandonment of Lily.
He believed that the court would see through Rebecca's superficial charm and recognize the true nature of her intentions.
However, the legal system proved to be a labyrinth of its own, with its own rules of engagement.
Rebecca's shrewd lawyer expertly countered Michael's arguments, turning the focus onto his current life and exploiting any perceived weaknesses.
The lawyer highlighted Michael's demanding work schedule as a software engineer, portraying his long hours as neglectful.
Even minor disagreements with Chloe, which were a normal part of any relationship, were twisted into evidence of an unstable home environment, undermining Michael's credibility.
The courtroom became a stage for a carefully orchestrated character assassination.
The tension within Michael's household escalated dramatically as the legal battle intensified.
Rebecca's relentless attacks created a pervasive atmosphere of anxiety and suspicion.
Michael felt constantly under scrutiny, his every action potentially misinterpreted and used against him in court.
Chloe, too, found herself caught in the crossfire, her loving presence in Lily's life reframed as an intrusion by Rebecca's legal team.
Rebecca, determined to leave no stone unturned, even resorted to hiring private investigators.
These operatives delved into every aspect of Michael's personal and professional life, searching for any scrap of information that could tarnish his reputation.
Their relentless surveillance felt like an invasion, making Michael feel exposed and vulnerable.
The constant threat of discovery and public humiliation became a heavy burden.
The investigators' findings, however minor or circumstantial, were meticulously compiled and presented to the court, designed to paint Michael in the worst possible light.
Accusations of past indiscretions, long-forgotten incidents, and even fabricated narratives surfaced, each one a calculated blow.
Michael found himself fighting not just for Lily, but for his very integrity and public image, against a torrent of manufactured negativity.
Life for Michael, Lily, and Chloe became a relentless cycle of legal meetings, emotional strain, and the constant fear of what Rebecca would do next.
The joy and spontaneity that had once characterized their home evaporated, replaced by a pervasive sense of dread.
Lily's once bright demeanor began to dim, reflecting the overwhelming pressure she felt from the escalating conflict.
Their family unit, once so robust, now felt fragile and under siege.
Michael watched helplessly as Rebecca's calculated maneuvers slowly eroded Lily's trust and happiness.
The once clear lines of right and wrong blurred for his daughter, trapped in a maelstrom of adult conflict.
He knew he had to persevere, to somehow cut through Rebecca's web of deceit, but the legal machinery seemed to favor the aggressor, leaving him feeling increasingly isolated and desperate.
The fight had become a brutal test of endurance.
Lily, caught in the devastating crossfire between her parents, began to exhibit alarming signs of distress.
The once outgoing and joyful child became increasingly withdrawn, retreating into a shell of silence and apprehension.
Her nights were plagued by terrifying nightmares, disturbing her sleep and leaving her exhausted and agitated each morning.
Michael observed a disturbing decline in her emotional and psychological well-being, her bright spark dimming day by day.
Her teachers also noted a marked change in her behavior, reporting a loss of focus and an unusual quietness in class.
Lily's radiant personality was slowly being eclipsed by the immense pressure she endured, a direct consequence of the escalating custody battle.
Michael's heart ached with worry, seeing his daughter's innocence chipped away by the relentless conflict.
He knew, with an unsettling certainty, that the legal process was causing irreparable damage to her young soul.
The final court hearing at Adams County Court arrived, a day heavy with the weight of their collective fate.
The courtroom was a sterile, intimidating space, filled with an air of tense anticipation.
Michael sat, his stomach churning, as Rebecca's lawyer began the closing arguments, a polished performance designed to sway the judge.
The lawyer's voice was calm, yet each word felt like a personal attack against Michael.
In a shocking turn of events, Rebecca's lawyer introduced a piece of last-minute evidence, a carefully constructed narrative alleging Michael had shown past carelessness, endangering Lily.
This fresh accusation, vague yet damaging, was designed to cast a shadow over Michael's entire history as a father.
The suddenness and severity of the claim left Michael reeling, struggling to process the unfairness of the attack.
He knew it was a desperate attempt to tip the scales.
Michael vehemently denied the preposterous accusation, his voice filled with a desperate plea for truth and justice.
He explained the circumstances, offering a clear and rational counter-narrative to the fabricated claims.
Chloe, witnessing his anguish, bravely took the stand, her testimony a heartfelt defense of Michael's unwavering dedication and love for Lily.
She spoke of his constant care and the stable home they had built together.
Despite Michael's passionate denial and Chloe's compelling testimony, the judge remained unmoved, his expression unreadable.
The weight of Rebecca's meticulously crafted campaign seemed to have settled firmly in the court's perception.
After a brief recess, the judge delivered the devastating verdict, a decision that shattered Michael's world into a million pieces.
The judge ruled against him, granting full custody of Lily to Rebecca.
The reason cited was a chilling blow. Rebecca could provide a more stable new environment, a phrase that felt like a cruel irony given her past.
Michael felt a cold dread spread through him, the words echoing in his ears as if from a great distance.
The injustice of the decision was a physical pain, leaving him breathless and utterly defeated.
He looked at Lily, whose small face was etched with confusion and fear.
In the agonizing weeks that followed, Michael launched a desperate appeal, pouring all his energy and remaining resources into overturning the judgment.
He consulted new lawyers, reviewed every piece of evidence, and searched for any legal avenue that might offer a glimmer of hope.
However, every effort proved futile, the legal system's door firmly shut against his pleas.
The verdict stood, unyielding and final.
Lily, now living with Rebecca, struggled immensely with the sudden and drastic change in her life.
The promised lavish lifestyle felt hollow, unable to compensate for the loss of her father's comforting presence and the stability she craved.
The pressure from her mother, coupled with the emotional turmoil, became unbearable for the sensitive child.
She became increasingly isolated, her spirit slowly breaking under the weight of her new reality.
Then, one desolate evening, the unthinkable happened.
Lily, unable to endure the profound unhappiness and the suffocating pressure any longer, vanished from Rebecca's home.
She simply disappeared, leaving no trace, no note, just an empty space where a vibrant little girl once was.
The news tore through Michael, Chloe, and even a stunned Rebecca, leaving behind a heartbreaking tragedy that echoed with the silence of a missing child.
The search began, a frantic, desperate quest for a lost soul, but Lily was nowhere to be found.